we go.
We are recording. We seem to have a different picture this time. Get everybody along the top. But Suze, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you guys see my screen okay? I can now just see my own face. Can you see the presentation I've got up okay?
Not yet. Have you done share screen?
Oh, hang on. Where are we? Share screen. Here we go. Share. All right.
That's it now. Perfect.
That's the end of it. Bear with me, guys. There we go. All right, thanks. That's me wasted 30 seconds of my time so far. Thank you very much for having me on this morning. Really nice to meet you all and get a little bit more information in the breakout room. I'm just going to whiz through. I put some slides together to give you a bit of information about what Drinklusive is. And then, yeah, it'd be really great to link in with those of you on the call. There might be some kind of reason to connect further. So Drinklusive is a very, very brand new, literally registering last Friday as a social enterprise. I'm Susan O'Neill. I started this idea about 2.5 months ago now. And basically the idea with Drinklusive is that we're a community working towards equality in the UK drinks industry through dialogue and positive action. We're mostly on Instagram at the moment, although I've just had a frightful conversation with Hazel McBride there because we're talking about going on to create a website soon, so that's another adventure. But literally on Friday we registered as a community interest company. This is just a bit of a background as to why this started. So my personal background is in wine. I've worked in the wine industry for about 15 years now in a variety of different roles, mostly export sales, but also in marketing, brand ambassador. It's been a wonderful job in many ways. It's taken me all around the world, but it has also been a very it's not a diverse industry, and even as a Scottish woman, I'm very much in a minority, and there's a few things that have happened recently that have made me really focus on that more. So about 1 month ago, somebody called Gus Gluck, who works in the wine industry in London, he carried out the first ever UK-wide diversity survey for the wine industry, and not surprisingly, the results were pretty depressing. So I've put a few of the key things up here. Less than 15% of professionals come from a Black or ethnic minority background. 45%, so nearly half of the people surveyed, said that their places of work had one or no colleagues from a minority background. Really worryingly, people from a BAME background experienced more discrimination in their workplace working in the wine industry than in real life. So that means as an industry, we're trending worse than society as a whole. And again, worryingly, some of the white respondents said they felt there was no need for change from the current situation. And there's a real lack of representation of BAME professionals at senior management levels in the wine industry. So these were the kind of key facts that have led up to the sort of why behind Drinklusive. Excuse me. What we're doing, 2 months ago, I got in touch with one of the major drinks media, Harper's Wine and Spirits magazine. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it. And I just contacted them basically to say, are you planning to do any coverage on this issue of lack of diversity at a time when the entire world post George Floyd was talking about Black Lives Matter and talking about these issues? The wine industry quite typically remained very quiet, so not even sitting on the fence but kind of hiding behind the fence. And so I wrote to the magazine to ask, are you planning any coverage? It would be great to see you guys taking a lead on saying something about our own industry or looking to make improvements, because nobody was saying anything at all. The only person that had written anything was, I don't know if you know Jancis Robinson. She's a kind of well-known wine critic and journalist. She used to have a TV show back in the 80s, and she wrote one piece, but that was kind of it. It's kind of radio silence. And so we've started working with the Instagram account. It was really just to see, are there other people out there who would like to try and make improvements in the industry? The wine industry can be a fantastic place to work. It can be really fun. You get to travel the world. You get to meet people from all different cultures, but it's predominantly white. there's a fantastic woman in New York called Victoria James. She's just brought out a book called The Wine Girl. And she used a phrase which I've been loving ever since, where describing the industry as being male, pale and stale. And we know that in the industry. And there's lots of great senior position white males in the industry that can really help make change. But this male, pale and stale category really kind of struck a chord. So through an Instagram account, we've been building a community of people who are keen to try and make change, to work together, to share best practice on initiatives that they're already doing with regards to diversity. And we now have fortnightly calls with a group of about 20 people from an Instagram account. I think in the past 8 weeks, I think we're nearly up to maybe 550 followers. But this group of about 20 people, we meet every fortnight on Zoom, and we're really just trying to get concrete action in place in the various places where we live. So a lot of people are in London, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow. It's UK wide. We've been working with wine companies with their marketing departments as a very first step. So a lot of what we've been doing is just communication and contacting companies and saying, we've noticed on your website and your social media that, you know, all of your pictures are of white people drinking wine. And in fact, a lot of instances, the only pictures representing somebody who isn't white is in a serving capacity. And we've just tried to start a dialogue, not in a naming and shaming type of way, but just in a, we've noticed this, you know, would you like to have a dialogue, or can we help source better pictures so that you've got better representation on your social media? Wine is often, you know, described as a lifestyle product, but it's very often only one type of lifestyle that's portrayed. And that's had a fantastic response. Companies have been really open, and we found that the general feeling is we know we need to do something, but we just don't know what, we don't know where to start. So that's one aspect of what we've been doing. Other examples of things which have been really well received: Scottish Licensed Trade News Organisation, they do awards every year, and there's lots of different categories, and they've been really responsive, and they're going to create a new award from next year, based on conversations that we started with them. And the award will be the most inclusive workplace, and what that will do is set out criteria to meet in order to, you know, to win that award, and that will signpost really, you know, what do we mean by an inclusive workplace, and hopefully by having that award it will generate PR around the issue. We're also, again, through contacting companies and inviting them to have a discussion, I guess, if you like, about diversity or about the work that they're doing. We've managed to create a new scholarship with one of the major champagne houses, which also includes a travel bursary and mentorship with Jancis Robinson, who I mentioned earlier. So really kind of concrete things which have come out of saying, we all work in this industry and we'd love to see it improve in terms of diversity. You know, how can we work with you, or what can we do to make that happen? WSET is also the kind of official qualification for the wine and spirit industry. It's the Wine and Spirit Education Trust. They've set up diversity panels to help them improve their diversity, because as a global organisation, they're not very diverse at the moment. And we're part of one of those panels and working closely with them on different initiatives. Bailey, I think, is possibly in the call you joined already, or from her car. Bailey Adeote and I met through social media about a month ago, and we're working on a new event called Cheers to Change. It will actually be a series of events, and the idea is that it will be wine training sessions led by people of colour for people of colour working in the hospitality industry. And that's a very specific kind of objective to widen information and access to the wine industry. A lot of the research that's coming back at the moment is that it doesn't feel like a welcoming industry for people who are from a BAME background, or people who are not white, middle class, and already working in wine. So the idea with Cheers to Change is to create a welcoming space to get an introduction to what working in wine involves and can look like, some introductory wine tasting and training to get an idea of what that involves, just to try and open a conversation, an open dialogue, to make it a more encouraging place to look at as a career option. On the Instagram account, we're really trying hard to signpost talent already in the industry. There's a new website being created which we've been working together on, and it's www.bamewineprofessionals.co.uk. It's being started by a guy called Mags Janjo, who is a black wine professional himself. And one of the things they're trying to do is start a directory, I guess, of talent and showcase the good work. And we're struggling to find 20 individuals who aren't white working in the wine industry in the whole of the UK. So that gives you an indication that, and none of the people that we have found so far are in senior positions, although, you know, within a management structure or on boards of directors or at executive level. So lots of work to be done. Yeah, this just gives you an idea of the Cheers to Change. You can see pictures here. Nada Ahmed is a sommelier at the Finiston Group, so at the Kind Holding Group, so that's Finiston and Porter and Rye if you're in Glasgow. She's a sommelier. She's going to be leading these wine sessions. Fantastic training, great, loads of enthusiasm, loads of knowledge. So yeah, she's going to do the first one, which will be on the 1st of October. It's going to be a virtual session first of all, because who knows what's going to happen. We might be back in lockdown, hopefully not. And then you can see Bailey here, Managing Director of Decomai. She was featured on one of last week's Coffee Mornings. So in partnership between the three of us, we're going to start this event. Our biggest challenge, I think, is going to be networking and reaching out to the widest possible audience to communicate what we're doing and to try and get an audience and see if people are interested and see if there's interest there. A lot of the people that we work with in London at the moment, it's a very different picture. In London, there's not really a shortage of diversity in the hospitality sector, but where the real issue is progression and moving from entry-level positions. Whereas, oh, I'm over my time. Up here, we really are just lacking any diversity at all and visibility and role models. So yeah, I think that's my last slide. We're going to be doing Spotlight on Talent, just showcasing the talent that we've got within the Drinklusive community. We're trying to grow that community, and we're looking at exploring wider training options. So perhaps from Cheers to Change, that could lead to actually delivering some of the WSET qualifications in Glasgow to a more diverse and a wider audience. Yeah, that's just a little plug there of the social medias. We'll be looking for partners, drinks partners in order for the training that we're doing. We might widen it from wine to include beers and spirits. Hannah, it might be really interesting to speak to you afterwards about Chopria and what you guys are doing in terms of training with your staff also. So yeah, I'd love to follow up with you after. All right, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you, Susan. If
Sorry,
you just want to
time
stop, a wee bit, it's all right, it's fine. If you just want to unshare.
Yeah.
And I will stop recording. Okay.